what I learned about me as a person and a teacher is I didn't have the stimulus that I'd had for 15 years. Because when you're teaching, I'm teaching you the lesson, but I'm also thinking about that kid who said that weird thing 5 minutes ago. What does that actually mean? Is his home life okay? Oh, the phone I know is going to ring at 10:05 because that's when the nurse usually calls for someone else. Also, I should adjust this lesson for the next period. I sense that something wrong is happening behind. You know what I mean? It is
Yeah.
thousands of things happening all the time. And so when I finally got a chance just to sit in my own thoughts, I was like, what is this space?
How to survive the classroom.
Hey, teacher besties. I am so excited to share with you that my book, They Never Taught Us That, is available for pre-order right now. It is everything inexperienced first-year teachers need to manage the chaos of the modern classroom, including some anecdotes to make you feel a little bit better, because if there is a way you can screw up, I have probably done it. It also has advice on how to build trust with families, how to manage grading and lesson plans and IEPs and everything in between that they never went over in your teacher prep program. They Never Taught Us That is available everywhere right now for pre-order. Hey, teacher besties. Welcome to How to Survive the Classroom. I am Andrea Forcum.
I'm Gerry Patoka.
And today we have someone so exciting to have here. We've got Matt Eicheldinger. This is the second time, one of our very few repeat guests that we've had here. He was on early days. Matt, thank you so much for coming and hanging out with us today.
Yeah, absolutely. It's been cool to follow your journey too. So I was happy to come back on and we can talk updates or whatever you want to do.
Yeah. So now, for those who maybe weren't listening back in the day when I had interviewed you the first time, so you are a former middle school teacher and current multiple-time author, and you have a new book coming out, which is what inspired me to bring you back because I'm really excited to talk about the book, and we will. But do you want to give just a little background on yourself and kind of like how you found yourself in the online space and writing all these books?
Sure. I kind of ask myself the same thing every day. So I was a middle school language arts teacher, sixth grade specifically, for 15 years. I'm currently on leave from the district, so technically I'm still under contract. But I wrote a book when I was 21 years old, and I spent 15 years trying to get the darn thing published, and then ended up self-publishing it in the middle of the pandemic. And then it did fairly well and got the attention of an agent. And then that book, quote, instantly became a New York Times bestseller when it re-released. And so then I went on leave to pursue being an author, which was a dream of mine for a while. And I've signed, I think, 12 book contracts to date in under 2 years. By the end of next year, I'll have written a book for every age range, which is pretty cool. And then the online space, I don't know. I started sharing stories that I'd saved from teaching. I had written something down every day for 15 years. And I think I found a niche online, and it's been fun to build a community of teachers just like you have. And it's been cool to navigate everything that comes with it too, because there's a lot that comes with it, as you know.
Yeah, there is. Man,
Yeah.
I'm trying to remember because the first time you came on, it was not, how many book contracts did you say you've signed now? 13?
So like, I think technically it's less than that, but that's the total amount of books.
Okay.
'Cause some of them are 3-book deals. So one
Okay.
contract, 3 books. But
Gotcha.
yeah, I think it'll be 13 books by 2027. And then I was supposed to hear back on some today. So maybe I'll get a call in the middle of this. There'll be
Heck
like a
yeah.
live unboxing.
That's so great. Oh my gosh,
Yeah.
that's so exciting. So, and I think I'm trying to remember, I think you were working on maybe your second or third last time we chatted, because
Probably.
I have in my home and have read with my son, Matt Sprout's and The Curse of the 10 Broken Toes. And
Sweet.
which is, it's so great. I love it so much. And I was just looking at your website and saw you also have a collection of poetry for kids that looks like basically like a joke book, right?
You could consider it that. It's illustrated poetry. So like when I started teaching, we had poetry standards, but we had no poetry curriculum. So it was
Okay.
always easier for me to create stuff. So I started writing poems for my students. They were not good when I started. Like middle schoolers are pretty blunt. They'll tell you like, that's horrible.
Yeah.
But I got better over time. And so when I pitched this idea, I didn't actually have to work that much because I had hundreds and hundreds of poems properly vetted by middle schoolers just sitting on files on my computer.
Oh, I love it. That's so
Yeah.
great. All those drafts judged by middle schoolers, that like so much harder of an audience to win over than I feel like any other editors.
Oh my gosh, absolutely. So like when I self-published my first book, you pay to publish, right? And that
Mhm.
and the way that I did it. And so it's like itemized. So I paid for like editing services and all sorts of stuff. And then I was like, "Oh, you guys are going to design the cover, right?" And they're like, "Well, maybe, but you can give us more money." And I was like, "Well, I guess I'm drawing it then." And so I did that, but I showed my students the covers that I designed, and they just tore into them so bad. But they ended up voting on the cover, and they chose the one that ended up kind of inspiring the new re-release too. So that was cool.
Oh, that's so great. So now
Yeah,
the art that's currently on the cover of the Matt Sprout series, is that your art?
it's my art, and then they like arrange it. So and different publishers do things differently, but um, Andrews McMeel is the publisher that I'm with. They're behind things like Garfield, Big Nate, Peanuts, Snoopy, and they're creator first. So they really want the creator to be able to have their hands in the process the entire way, which is pretty cool. So I usually pitch them a cover design, and then they're like, "That's great, but what if we?" And then we work together to format it so that it's a little bit better than my original.
That's awesome. I have a
Yeah.
lot of people who listen who are very interested in publishing and getting into becoming writers and all of that kind of stuff. And I think it's really interesting that you did it just I feel like the hardest way in some ways, because everybody, like the story that you just described of I
Yeah.
self-published and everybody loved it and then a publisher swooped in. I think every single person who self-publishes, they think that's exactly what is going to occur. Do you want to speak to the reality of that experience and how it worked for you and what you would recommend if you were to like start over, how you maybe would go about it a little differently?
Yeah, I mean, we could talk about this for hours. I do like talking to people about this because I like shattering, like
Hopes and
preconceived notions
dreams.
of
Yeah.
not dreams necessarily, but I'm sure when I do meet with people, they're like, "Oh," and then their dream feels shattered. So there's many different ways to self-publish, and I already knew I had a good product because I had 15 years of kids telling me it was good. So no one could tell me my product wasn't good. I believed that it was, but I needed a way to get noticed. And to get noticed, the route that I went was I want a really good product. And to have a really good product, I had to pay to get like a hardback version of the book. You can self-publish for basically free on Amazon right now, but the quality is different. And so,
Mhm.
when I went through the process, it cost me a lot of money. I ended up doing a Kickstarter campaign. I researched Kickstarter campaigns for months before I dove in. And fun fact, one of the least successful campaigns on Kickstarter are books. So I went in already like
Great.
not, yeah, right. But I really spent my time learning, and I created a really compelling video, and we were able to raise quite a bit of money to fund that project. Once all those books were sold, though, I still lost money. Like it's a
Ugh.
losing endeavor. You have to print thousands and thousands of copies to get the price per book down low enough to where you can make good revenue. But the reality was for me, I didn't spend a lot of time going to like conferences or, book fairs to sell it. I sold them primarily online through my website, which meant every time someone clicked buy, I had to go into my basement, grab the book, shove it in an envelope, write the name on it, take it to the post office. Media mail is books, and it is cheaper to ship. So then I have to go up to the counter and they go, "What's in here?" I go, "A book." And they go, "A book?" I go, "A book." And then they go, "Is there a bomb in this bag?" And I go, "No." And I hit the button. That whole process takes like 10 to 15 minutes because then they have to type it in. Um, and so if I had an order of 50 to 100 books, I'd be there for hours. I would go buy McDonald's for all the workers and get there before opening. They allowed me to do that. And we would just sit there and I'd go, "There's not a bomb in this bag. There's not a bomb in this bag." And it was still fun to know my books were getting out there, but I was still teaching. It was absolutely draining.
Yeah.
And I did that for like a year. I wasn't on social media that much. I kind of dabbled in like teacher humor on TikTok. I think I had a following at the time of like 10,000.
Hmm.
But I had young kids. It was just so much to juggle.
Yeah.
Um, and so the reality of being a self-published author is you have to hustle a lot. You have to hustle a lot. You're going against people who have whole marketing teams. It's really difficult to get your book into a store. I got my book into one store in the state of Minnesota, would take it.
Yeah.
One. and I won like 3 or 4 international awards, and still that wasn't enough to get into bigger box stores. But it's a wild ride. But what I tell people is, if you know what your goal is for self-publishing, it's much more manageable. My goal was to get noticed, which required a lot more work. Some people's goal is just to get a book on a shelf for their kids or their family members, and that's a different path.
Yeah. Man, that is crazy. And what you just described of going to your basement, grabbing the book, and then do it I think the paying for editing is one of those things that I feel like people who maybe are not humble enough to recognize how much they need it would maybe skip. And that would be the worst possible thing for anyone to do. My book is coming out in May, and it's being published through Wiley. And so it's going through the traditional. I had one editor that went through and came in and talked about like, okay, well, this is like content wise what I think we're missing here, and then multiple revisions with copy editors. I don't know about you, but getting feedback from a copy editor, I think, to me, is like the most painful and annoying, because I believe you. Like, if you tell me you need to put a comma or a period somewhere, you don't have to ask me. Like, just do it. Like, to me, like, that is the most, and they're like, check every single page. And make sure it's exactly what you want. And I'm like, at this point, I don't care what I want. I just want a book, and I want it to look good. And if you say it's good, then I believe you more than me at this stage.
Yeah. Copy editors are like, in video game world, they're like a level 99, and I'm like a level 5. And I was an English teacher, so like I feel like I know this stuff. And then copy editors go through, and you're like, oh, I don't know anything about our language that I speak.
100%. 100%. I felt the exact same way. Like having a bachelor's degree in English, teaching English, all of that. And then they were like, hey, so you like used the wrong where on that one. And I'm like, that's a really embarrassing mistake. I'm really glad you guys got that. Like,
yes. It's a humbling experience.
It truly is. And Gerry actually has self-published a coloring book. Gerry, is that right? What we have right now on Amazon?
Yeah, but mine was a cash grab, brother. I'm not gonna lie to you. I needed comedy merch, and I was like, some of these middle-aged teacher women gonna buy these.
How's it going?
I did it, and I still don't have one.
Wait, did you order one for yourself?
No.
Oh, okay. I thought you were saying like it didn't get fulfilled.
I have the PDF. I'm good. Like, I haven't ordered them. I'm gonna be honest with you. I kind of forgot I did it, and it was just a little side quest I went on.
Yeah. I mean, I get that. I do think that what you should do, Gerry, though, is like get like a calendar type thing, but instead of it cartoons, you should do like a photo shoot and do like a Gerry calendar. I think that would sell.
Be funny.
Yeah, it would be incredible.
And it's just me and drive-thrus.
I was gonna wonder. Yeah. I was gonna ask, is this like a steamy calendar? But now it sounds like you're pivoting. No,
school appropriate calendar of just me eating every fast food restaurant's token sandwich.
That's actually a genius idea. I am team that, and be like, just call it the Year of Gerry.
I know you said your demographic for the first one, but maybe students would buy that. They might like to hang that up and
they might.
They totally would. It would be.
I wish they were still using
fun.
Physical calendars. I could make a phone app.
Yeah, sell wallpaper. Sell yourself like a little like photo shoot of wallpaper of you.
Like phone lock screens for like 99 cents on Etsy or something.
Well, I'm going to give you some hope. So Andrews McMeel Publishing is also the world's #1 producer of physical calendars, and they still pump out hundreds of calendars every year, both small and large. So your dream is out there.
That's right.
It's achievable.
There we go.
It could happen.
There we go. I'm gonna be sold in Dollar Trees everywhere.
There you go.
I love that idea. Oh my gosh. So now, Matt, you had like last time we chatted, I think you described Matt Sprouts and the Curse of the 10 Broken Toes. How do you do you say the whole title every time? How do you abbreviate that when you're talking about your book?
I mean, I have to say that and my last name. It's just a whole mouthful.
It really. You just commit to it every time?
I do. I just say the whole thing really quick. No, I usually call it 10 Broken Toes.
Okay.
Or just the Matt Sprouts series. But yeah, I don't know what I was thinking for the first title. Because
Yeah.
everything now, and you know this, like in social media land, everything's got to be short, quick, and digestible. And here I
Yeah.
am, Matt Eicheldinger, Matt Sprouts, I'm the curse of the 10 broken. I don't know.
Yeah, it's a lot.
Who
It's a
knows?
lot there. Now that one is that considered middle grade?
It is middle grade, although it's like a third grade readability.
Okay.
It was for reluctant readers, so it's got quite the span. I think I've met with classes as young as first grade who do it as a read aloud, and then as old as eighth grade. So that's kind of
Okay.
cool.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's violent, by the way. Not in
It's
a
violent
terrible
and-
way. It's
Well,
called you find out how he breaks his toes. And so
Yes, which I think is like in hindsight, that's definitely the hook that gets kids. Like in the opening scene, he breaks his neighbor's collarbone, and kids are like, "You can write about this stuff." But what's funny, not funny, is like, my publisher goes to all these international rights conferences where you try and sell your book with foreign
Mhm.
rights to be put in another language. We have learned that in other countries they don't find breaking toes very funny.
oh no. Oh,
Yeah,
bummer.
so it's most likely not going to get. I mean, it's a New York Times bestseller. You can't really promote it better than that. But I don't think another
Right.
country is going to pick that one up.
Oh, that's so funny. Yeah, because my
Yeah.
parents came to visit and they just picked it up to read to one of my kids. Are like, whoa, this is. I was like, it's fine. I was like, and I told them that actually. I was like,
Yeah.
so he wrote it for reluctant readers, and what about can't imagine a better way to get reluctant readers to buy in than a broken collarbone. And
Yeah, it's wild. I don't know if I'll ever write a book as like, I don't want to use the word graphic, but some scenes for a kid might be graphic.
Yeah,
like
yeah.
they're all kind of written funny, but yeah, broken toes maybe not so laughable
I
to
mean,
everybody.
it's fine. Who amongst us hasn't broken a toe or two? So you
Well,
wrote.
do you know that those stories are real?
I did not know that those stories are real. Are those all
So
stories of things that happened to you?
yeah, it's autobiography. You
Matt,
didn't know that?
I did not know that, and that really I need to reread
You-
now.
Okay,
with that
so let
knowledge.
me give you some highlights. So the opening scene where Matt trips his neighbor Jenna in a game of tag and she breaks her collarbone,
Yeah.
it happened exactly as I wrote it. All those people in the book are real. I use their real names. I got permission for everybody. The scene where Matt throws poop at the llama and it jumps the fence and trapples him,
Yeah.
it happened exactly as I wrote it.
That makes
And
it
so
so much
often-
better.
Right. And so what's cool is when you go to places, especially like in cities where like kids don't hear stories of the country.
Yeah.
These stories are wild to them. They're like, "You actually threw poop at a llama?" I'm like, "Man, there's nothing else to do." Like, yeah, I was throwing poop at llamas. Like, I got the scene where I'm going down a water slide and this kid's climbing up and I got to jam my feet up to try and stop myself from crunching him.
Yeah.
I break a toe that way and I passed out and slid out of there sleeping and went into the water and they used the big hook to get me out. Yeah, the book's like 99 or 98% accurate.
That is wild. And now I'm absolutely going to have to revisit it because
yeah.
it's got, so no wonder you weren't like, that's not that violent. This is just an actual story of how I broke someone's collarbone and I'm not a criminal. So it's fine.
Right. Well, what's crazy about that llama poop story too is this part's not in the book, but when I go talk about it with kids, I retell the scene. And when the llama trampled me, my dad came out of the house and chased it away. And then he scooped me up like I was a sack of potatoes. And he brought me and sat me on the toilet, which in the countryside, that's where all medical procedures take place.
Oh
Right?
gosh.
So he takes my sock off. He goes, "Matt, look at your big toe. It's crooked. I'm going to put it back into place for you." I was like, "You're going to what?" And he goes, "Here." And he took the toilet paper off the roll and he put it in my mouth. He goes, "That's so I don't have to hear you scream." And he goes, "On the count of 3, are you ready? 1, 2." And then the door opened and there was like a heavenly glow and my mom walked in. She's like,
Oh.
"We're going to take you to the hospital."
Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
Now, what did your dad do for a living?
My dad managed a like mass production or like a mass production factory. They
Okay.
made of like these, they're called like diamond wheels. They're not actually diamonds. It's made of like this diamond dust and they're grinding wheels to grind like helicopter blades and all random stuff. And that environment is in my second book because I worked there a lot. And there was a lot of people there on work release programs from the state prison. So I
Okay.
was introduced to a lot of different people in my early childhood.
It sounds like it. Well, and I also
Yeah.
feel like folks who have done factory work. So I grew up in San Diego and my dad was a physician assistant and my mom was a stay-at-home
Okay.
mom. And so like, I didn't really understand like the culture of like factory work nearly as much as I do now that I live in the Midwest. And I
Yeah.
have a student in my class right now. He's actually going to be a CTE teacher. And he was explaining to me how he's going to introduce safety protocols in his class when he teaches a shop class,
Okay.
by just showing the x-ray of his father's hand because his father works in a factory.
Oh, jeez.
And I don't know, I'm still trying to understand exactly what happened, but his dad was cleaning out some sort of equipment. And there was like kind of some sort of like space behind where he had been reaching, and something fell and
No.
fully severed like two of his fingers. And I was like, well, did they get the fingers back? And he's like, no, because it fell into this radioactive material at the bottom. And I'm like, he was just like reaching his hand, just like reaching it.
No.
And he's like, yeah. And so he like showed me the x-rays, and my brother-in-law who works at a power plant, he was there one day when someone's arm, like their forearm got fully like severed, and he had to grab it. And I think that's probably why your dad was like, so your dad's like, nah, we'll duct tape that bad boy back on.
Oh yeah, man. I mean, we could tell stories of injuries for days, but I think anyone who works in a mass production factory understands what they're getting into.
Yeah.
For sure.
And I do wonder if the people who make the safety videos for those types of environments are the same as the ones who make the safety videos for teachers, because it feels like the tone is the same for the two different...
The bloodborne pathogens.
Yeah. The most insane videos where people are like, it almost like what I described with like missing limbs and stuff like that. And I'm like, unless you're getting really intense with, I don't even know what that big paper cutter thing is called. But do you know to like cut like they do it more in elementary than any of us did it in secondary.
Yeah, I know.
But
it's paper cutter.
Gigantic paper, unless someone's getting really aggressive with that, I think, or someone's, like Gerry cutting out the pages of his calendar that he's going to be doing and injures himself, something like that.
I used to think getting injured by those things was a myth. I thought they told us that just to keep us out of the paper cutting room.
Why would
if you've ever seen like, because schools hold on to anything that works halfway so they don't have to buy a new one, right? If you go look at some of those that are like from the 50s, there's no safety on those at all. You put that big blade up and then you go to adjust your paper, that thing's coming back down immediately.
Oh my gosh, it's terrifying. Gerry, what do you think they're trying to keep us out of the paper room for?
So hold on. That wasn't an adult Gerry thought. That was a third grade Gerry thought. Because we used to go through the paper room while I was in elementary school, I was in the chorus, more lore for you. And I would go through the paper room to get to the backstage of the auditorium. And you had to go through a paper room. We go through, they'd be like, don't touch the paper cutter. And I was like, they just don't want us to break it. I didn't think we could actually get hurt.
Did you ever touch the paper cutter when you were walking through there?
Nah, because I was a rule follower, but I thought like we wouldn't have it if it could hurt people,
Oh, yeah. Okay, yeah.
So I didn't think about it. I was like, because
right.
Yeah,
That's it. That sounds like the elementary thought process that you would have, is like they're just trying to keep the good stuff from us, honestly. Okay, so now you are publishing When the Rain Came. Now when does it come out? Has it come out yet?
Nope, March 17th.
Okay. I thought I was going to say, I know it's coming up soon because I pre-ordered and I'm like, I haven't gotten it yet. So it better not. Yeah, of course. I'm like, it better not have been out yet because I'll be real bitter that I didn't get it yet. So can you tell us about this new book?
I can. I got my like advanced author copies, which is cool. So there it
exciting.
Is. It's my first ever dust jacket, which is cool. Nice. And now I understand, like, how you get to have your little face in there on the dust jacket?
Yeah.
And they're like, you need a new headshot. And I was like, that sounds like a lot of work. I'll just use the same one I've been using my entire life. And now I understand why, like, when you meet someone in person and you're like, hey, where'd all your hair go? You have hair in your book dust. That's going to be me for sure.
Oh, no.
For sure. This is going to outlive my hair.
I love it.
I feel you, brother.
Yeah. Yeah, my hair is rapidly leaving me. So When the Rain Came is my first young adult trilogy. and it follows a 17-year-old foster child named Aurora. And you are put right into her situation, which is she's in this mansion with a new foster family, and it's raining across the whole globe. And it's been raining for about a month, and she's only been living with them, about a month since the rain started. And it's about 3 feet high where she is, but government's been cut off. There's not real any communication. But she learned once it started raining that her really wealthy foster family are actually hardcore preppers, like doomsday preppers.
Nice.
And they don't necessarily have a lot of skill. They just bought a lot of stuff. And so they kind of try and train her in what they've been trained on. But then she wakes up one day and they are gone. They have disappeared and left her alone in the mansion. And she only has a few clues to where they might have gone. And she thinks they've gone to this place called the Hill, which she thinks might be a place of safety in this rising water because it's already up to the second floor of the house. And so the whole book follows her journey of trying to locate this place, as well as kind of redefine herself. She meets some people along the way, but it's a dystopian trilogy. So much like The Hunger Games and The Maze Runner, that era of dystopian trilogies, we're trying to restart it.
I love that premise. That's so
Thank you.
fun. Oh my
Yeah.
gosh. Now, how has it felt writing something like this as opposed to writing stuff that leaned more autobiographical?
But what's cool about my position is like, as a creative, I get to decide what I want to create next. It's not like a publisher saying, we want a book like this. It's just, what do I want to create? And so I try and create things only when I'm inspired. And so this book, I actually wrote the trilogy in about an hour while we were camping on like my wife's little notepad. It was raining, of course. And we couldn't go outside because it was just a little bit flooded. It was all muddy and stuff. And the idea just came to me. And I was like, what if there's a 17-year-old girl trapped with a friend? And so I just wrote the whole thing. We drove home that night. I started typing it. I think I pitched it to my agent like maybe a month later. I'd written maybe 75 pages. But I also didn't know what category it would be. I was like, can I write outside of middle grade? Like, do I have
Yeah.
the vocabulary and the sentence complexity? And what we decided is that it's okay. It's a really easy read. Like, I'm confident a sixth grade student can pick this up and read it easily, as well as someone who is maybe in their 60s. Like, it's a easy, smooth read, but it's very different than other dystopian books. And so I'm proud of what I've made, but I'm also very nervous because if the first book tanks, there's 2 more that are coming. And
You're
so
like, guess what?
yeah, guess what, guy? You don't like this book? Well, there's 2 more that need to be on the shelf. So we'll see.
Right.
We
Yeah.
will see.
So you said
Yeah.
it's different from other dystopians. How do you feel it's different?
So, as a language arts teacher, a lot of the books that I would have in my shelves, they're pretty graphic for dystopian, right? The whole world is ending, people fighting for survival. And I always felt like it was the central theme was like clawing your way to the top. I must beat somebody to get here, right?
Yeah.
And there is elements of that in this book, but the through line is kind of what I do on social media. It's family and it's hope. So my hope is that when people finish reading this book, their shoulders kind of relax. Like, it is dystopian, but I do think it mirrors what I do. There are scenes like I'm not giving away any spoilers, but these people think they know how to train her. So they make her do things for the months that she's living with them while the whole world is flooding. And she has to throw a hatchet hours every day, right? So she
Yeah.
gets pretty good with this hatchet. So it comes in handy in her journeys, but it's not the central focus. Like in the Hunger Games, Katniss has her bow and arrow, and that
Yeah.
thing's just whizzing through all the time. This hatchet is not that. It does play an important role, but it really is about what is family at the end of the day.
I
Yeah.
love that. That's really cool. Now, you said there's 2 more coming. Now, how far along in the writing process are you with the 2 other books?
So I am. Am I done with the second? The second one's pretty much done. It's in the copy editing stage, which for listeners, that's one like it's typesetting too. So they're getting it all organized, right? So page
Yeah.
layout, margins, and all that stuff. I'm currently in the middle of writing the third one, and that manuscript is due at the end of May. And I write like with my middle grade series, I write like a chapter a day. This takes me a little bit longer. I write like maybe 3/4 of a chapter.
Okay.
So I got to get moving. But the second book went really well. I was happy with how it progressed. In the second book, the rain is gone and the sun is out, and everything's just scorching hot. The second book's called When the Sun Returned, and then in the third book, it's called When the Land Grew, and the sun is back to a normal temperature, but all these like plants from long ago are starting to sprout, and no one knows if they're safe or not or what they contain. But what's cool is you would think that this series with the Earth changing would take like years, right? But
Yeah.
like between the first book and the end of the second book, it's only been like 2 months. So the Earth is changing really fast.
Okay.
And that wasn't intended. It just kind of happened. And I like that the pace is really quick.
Yeah. Yeah. Because that
Yeah.
I feel like that's also a big difference with a lot of the other YA dystopian type stuff is it usually is like between the first book and the last book, it always feels like years, if not decades, a lot of times. Like I'm trying to think with Hunger Games. I mean, because each time there was a reaping, it at least had been a year. So it
Yep.
was, a few years from the first one to the last one. So that is really exciting. And it also is
Yeah.
just really exciting to think that, like, I mean, hopefully it gets received and everybody adores it. And then you're going to be signing like movie deals and stuff soon, right?
Well,
Like,
here's the crazy, maybe, you know what the crazy thing is about movie deals that I didn't know? So I don't think I had mentioned this. I can't remember. I should go back and look when we did our first interview. But when I sign a book deal, that book almost immediately gets pitched to places like Nickelodeon, Disney, Sony, Paramount, because what they'll do is they will buy the option to hold on to that idea for about 18 months. I think that's the legal amount of time. So they'll throw me like, and I haven't actually gotten this yet, but this is how they'll throw you like a couple $1,000s to keep you happy. And then
Yeah.
they hold on to the rights. And then if that book does really well, guess who owns the rights and saved a lot of money?
nice.
Yeah. So it's every book that I put out, it's a possibility, which is wild to think about.
Yeah, and super
It's
super
wild to think about.
exciting. Like, because the way you're describing it, I'm like, I can visualize how like successful that could be, like both on like a visual medium as well. Like it just,
Yeah,
oh, so
it could be really
fun.
cool. And it's the first book that I got a overwhelmingly positive Kirkus review. For those of you who don't know, Kirkus does like the majority of book reviews. So if you flip over like a adult book, it's almost bound to have some sort of Kirkus review. It's the premier reviews of books. And for my Matt Sprout series, they always kind of gave me a meh review. I've seen them tear apart authors.
Oh,
And what's weird is it's subjective. So like there was an author that I knew, he wrote a great middle grade novel. Kirkus came out and said his characters are socks, and it said the author should put a sock in it. That was their main one line, which is like, oh my God. And then School Library Journal gave it 5 stars. So you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I was happy to finally have like a really like, I think they said it'll have readers clawing to get the second book before it comes out. And that's about as good as you can do for a review. So we'll see.
yeah. Now, how much do you read like Goodreads reviews and stuff like that of your books?
Too much. I'll tell you that. Too much. I'll sit there and hit refresh some days. I had an
Ugh.
author tell me don't do that because like the good reviews will give you a big ego and the horrible reviews will eat at you. I
Yeah.
more so do it just to see generally, like, I'm still trying to prove to myself that I can do this, right? Like, did
Yeah.
I just get lucky or can I actually write? So to read comments of learning why people like certain books is great. But I got to
Yeah.
tell you, for this book, Holes in My Underwear,
Yeah.
it's doing really well. It's like getting put into curriculums in schools. Like it's doing exactly what I thought it would do. But one of the first reviews I got, I'll turn to the page. On page 27 is a poem about a kid watching a plumber fix a sink. So there's a big butt crack, right?
Uh-huh.
Huge butt crack on the book. And someone wrote on Goodreads that this book is an extension of the devil himself. I was like, dang.
Whoa.
Like sometimes comments will make me feel bad, but that one was so out of left field. I was like, are you okay?
Right. Did they cite that specifically as like that particular poem was the reason?
So yeah, so the first line was that this book is from the devil himself, and then they
Wow.
just listed their reasons. And the first one was the butt crack. I'm like, all right, if you think a butt crack's from the devil, man, like you need to go read some children's literature. I also
Oh
though
my
have
gosh.
like I mean, this book is full of humor and heart, but there's a lot of funny things. Like I drew a bunch of toilet paper dancing around a toilet.
I love it.
There's a haiku about when you roll a snowball in your backyard, but there's like dog poop sticking out of it. Like it's not for everybody,
I love
but it
it.
definitely grabs the attention.
Yeah, it sounds like something my 5-year-old son would be all about. So now the
Yeah,
schools that have it in their curriculum, are they using it to teach poetry to kids in elementary
yeah,
school?
yeah,
So
which is
great.
so cool. So I did a literacy event the other night, and usually when I do a book event, they'll order books for me to sign, like from local bookstores, and then I personalize them for the people who bought them. And there's usually a lot of Matt Sprouts in there, and like a
Yeah.
couple of these. But this school, it was mostly the poetry book, which is cool because poetry is not a popular genre for children. It's like
Yeah.
Shel Silverstein or nothing. So it's nice
Yeah.
to
I
carve
was
out a
gonna
new.
say, like, the vibe reminds me of Shel Silverstein. Like, I remember as a kid,
Yeah,
I like got Where the Sidewalk Ends from my library, and I would just like
yeah.
read it and thought it was the funniest thing in the world. And I know you're also a huge fan of Calvin and Hobbes, and I feel like
Oh, good
both of
memory.
those
Yeah,
influences are very present in
yeah.
your early books and all of that. So who would you say is one of your inspirations for the now dystopian YA genre that you've stepped into?
I wish I could remember the creator's name. It's actually, I would say it's from a video game, which got turned into an HBO series called The Last of Us. Are you familiar?
Yes, actually, yeah. I've seen
Okay.
that.
Okay.
That's
So
awesome.
the video game is like one of the only video games where I like teared up at the storyline. I was like and I'm like not a huge gamer, but I was
Yeah.
shocked. I was like, I'm so invested in this game. Like it was pathetic. Um, but the storyline is so good, and it does mirror kind of what I say. Like, yes, there's like these like weird virusly zombie like things, but that's not the focus of the video game. The focus of the video game is family. So I was
Mm,
like, I wonder if I can do kind of the same thing. And I thought
yeah.
about that as I wrote. So,
That is so awesome.
When you write, how do you stay invested with what you're writing about? I know some of your stuff's
oh yeah,
autobiographical. I didn't say
yeah,
that word right. You know what I meant. I
I got you.
Yeah, English language ain't my strong suit. I know some of your stuff is rooted in your life. Some of it's inspired. Before I was doing comedy, when I was teaching, I wanted to get into middle grade writing. I can't stay
Okay,
invested with an idea long enough. So I know I'm
gotcha.
not the only one in that position where
Yeah.
I lose interest in the thing I'm talking about, or I get distracted and I'm like, oh, I want to talk about this now, and nothing ever gets done.
Okay. Well, I got a solution for you. So there's a couple ways. So like when I write, I don't write all day. Writing's actually a pretty small portion of my day. I write for maybe 2 to 3 hours. So that'd be the first thing is authors are all different. I've met authors who are like, oh, you got to write 8 hours a day. I'm like, I would go insane. I would.
Mhm.
I could. There's no way. Um, the other thing is too, like when I'm writing, if I have another idea about something else, I stop what I'm doing immediately and go to that, and I put all my energy into that. Which means I'm usually writing 3 to 4 projects at the same time during that 2 to 3 hour period. So like I was writing this dystopian series, but at the same time, I have a series for early readers coming out with Simon and Schuster. It's about two little monsters that are brothers and they help each other. So I'm flipping back and forth between little kid and dystopian end of the world. And that's what helps like me being distracted. And I have a theory about teachers in general. When I actually sat down to write the second book, the first day that I was on leave from teaching, I sat down to write and I could not focus for the life of me. I had the hardest time. I was like, do I have attention issues? Like I couldn't stay focused for more than 5 minutes. And what I learned about me as a person and a teacher is I didn't have the stimulus that I'd had for 15 years. Because when you're teaching, I'm teaching you the lesson, But I'm also thinking about that kid who said that weird thing 5 minutes ago. What does that actually mean? Is his home life okay? Oh, the phone I know is going to ring at 10:05 because that's when the nurse usually calls for someone else. Also, I should adjust this lesson for the next period. I sense that something wrong is happening behind. You know what I mean? It is
Yeah.
thousands of things happening all the time. And so when I finally got a chance just to sit in my own thoughts, I was like, what is this space?
Yeah.
Yeah. It's bizarre. But for those of you who are having trouble focusing, it's okay to not focus. You can skip and go to the next thing. That's what makes you a creative person.
I think that's really good advice. Because when I was working on my book, number one, I made them give me deadlines. That was the other thing is
Oh,
I didn't have my book written. I had like an outline, and then
okay.
that's what the publisher had, and then they gave me deadlines, and so that also helped focus me and give me a sense of urgency because that's how
Good.
my brain works. Is like same thing where I'm like, there's like nothing's on fire. How am I supposed to create anything? And so I
Yeah.
set things on fire, mentally, and that's
There you go.
that was
It's like in a sense, like when stuff, whether it's comedy or writing a book or even being in the classroom, it's like this thing is your friend. Essentially, you're having to spend so much time with it.
Yep.
You want, like, you're not going to hang out with people who get on your nerves or that you don't like or that bore you. No, you want to spend your time with something
Yeah.
that stimulates you, something you like. And
yeah,
Yeah.
definitely.
I
Well,
don't know.
very-
I made a coloring book of me.
Of you. I think it's great. I think it's high art, Gerry. I love it. I'm looking forward to the calendar release that I'm sure will happen at some point in 2026.
Yeah. You got to go all in on that dream.
We are going to wrap up here. But thank you so much for hanging out with us today. This has been super fun to get an update on all these exciting
Yeah.
things. Now, where can people find you and where should they order your book?
Sure. Thanks for asking. Well, the great thing is with the last name, Eicheldinger, I am the only thing that pops up online. So you can just Google my name, or if you can go find me at matteicheldinger.com, or my handle is just at Matt Eicheldinger.
Are you going to be doing any book releases or signing parties or anything like that in the upcoming months?
Yes. I am doing my second ever book tour. I did a book tour for my book Sticky Notes, which was 3 days in 3 cities. And this is 5 days in 5 cities, but it goes across the whole United States. So if there was ever a time for me to get sick, it's definitely going to be during this book tour.
Right.
So I think it's the week of March 17th. I'm in San Diego, and then I'm in Denver, and then I'm in Chicago, and then I'm in New York City for the first time, NYC, and then Boston.
Awesome.
So all that information is on my website too. But yeah, it's going to be a lot.
Yeah.
I'm excited.
That's
Yeah.
so exciting. Well, again, Matt, thank you so much for coming and hanging out with us. And we will be right back. Have you ever wondered what I would say if my mother and my administrators weren't watching every single thing I do on social media? Well, that's exactly what my stand-up show is. And I'm going to be coming to a town near you super soon. You can get tickets at educatorandrea.com/tickets. Welcome back, teacher besties. Okay, so I hope you guys enjoyed our chat with Matt. I'm so sorry, Gerry. I basically didn't let you speak at all. Do you feel like you have like a lot of words now that you need to get out?
I'll save them for later.
Okay, that's great because it's a podcast, so no need for you to speak. Okay, so I do have a hill I want to die on because someone pissed me off this week. Okay, guys, my hill that I want to die on is, I'm trying to think of the best way of saying it without being so specific that this person knows I'm talking about them. The hill I want to die on is that it costs $0 to be kind to people. That's it. It costs $0. I had a situation this week where I went into an office space and somebody was there who did not like that I was in that office space. And I was trying to do a really fun activity with my students, and we're a teaching college and all that kind of stuff. And the person just reacted like with so much animosity, even though it didn't actually impact her whatsoever. She just didn't like that she didn't know what was happening. And it costs $0 to like let joy happen sometimes, Like, can't we just let happy people be happy and not rain on the parade of fun, joyous things. Like, it just pisses me off when people see other people being happy and they have to be like, yeah, but maybe you shouldn't be happy. Like, get over yourself.
I'm just glad you said you wanted to not make sure the person that you're talking about. I'm like, okay, that wasn't me.
You thought
Only
you
make
pissed
sure
me
it
off
wasn't
this
me.
week?
I think I piss everybody off all the time. I'm like, oh, well, I do. But no,
Do you?
I be getting on people's nerves, Andrea.
Really? See, you know what's interesting is I
I'm
was
a
talking.
pest.
I You, Gerry?
Today, so
No.
I have a light. It's right here. I have a light that I use sometimes when I need lighting for whether this podcast or for videos. And it was in my
Mhm.
bag. And I just walked around the school building during my planning today. And I was like, hey, look what I found in my book bag. I plug in and turn it on real quick and just blind people I walk by. And
Oh,
I just do things like that. Yeah.
got it. So you're intentionally pissing people off.
Well, when you put it like that.
No, so I was talking to Steven, our husband, about this the other day, that like I don't spend time thinking about whether or not other people like me. Like, after I have an interaction with someone, I don't really think about it that much afterwards. And that like blew his mind, because he's like, you don't like think about like go back and forth on whether or not it was the right choice to say the thing you said. And I'm like, unless I made it so weird or super uncomfortable, no. Like, I pretty much like I don't know that my brain works that hard.
I do
And
all the time.
see, and so does Steven. And you must be exhausted, honestly. I don't worry about that pretty much ever. And like, the other thing we were talking about is like doing, what was it? It was something about like making just like basic decisions about like what we're doing or who we're going to hang out with and stuff. And he like really mulls it over a lot. And I just am like, yeah, let's do it 9 times out of 10. And he's like, yeah, but, and like goes back and forth on it. And I just, no, I'm like, pretty much, I'm like, yeah, no, we're good. Like, I don't spend that much time on it.
Yeah, some of it's like self-reflective for me because I'll be like, did I do anything? Because I do things and I don't really think about it. And then I'll think about it later. I'm like, yeah, I probably shouldn't have said that or shouldn't have done that. Or, oh, I could see why that would bother somebody. And if it's the case, I have no problem going back and saying, hey, I could have done this better. I did this. I'm sorry if you interpreted this, because I think people's feelings, regardless of what your intent was, that person, wherever they felt received, that's
Mm-hmm.
what's objective. And it's like, hey, if I didn't mean to hurt your feelings, and I hurt your feelings, my bad.
Yeah.
I will keep that in mind. It's onward from here. But then there's sometimes I'll do something. I'm like, I stand on that. Like,
Yeah.
I'm good. Like,
Yeah.
that's a you problem. I'm not worried about it. But I am like, I try and be fair to it because I know I'd be making mistakes, like the light thing. That probably could have made somebody mad. I thought it was funny. I was just being a little goofy little jokester boy and doing my little things. Like, I like to yell in the hallway sometimes. Like, I'll come up behind somebody like, oh, or make a sound and make them jump. And I'm like, yeah, it was funny for me. Like, I'm glad that's the camera right there. Like, I got you. And
Mhm.
it's hilarious to me. But then some people, like, that makes you mad. I'm like, my bad. Tried something, didn't work. Oops.
Interesting.
But if it does feel like I know, like, you talking about people being nice on social media. You've been pretty open with stuff people have been saying to you online.
Yeah.
Some of our friends have been pretty transparent with stuff people are saying to them online. I don't even have followers, and people are taking up making fun of me online. I'm like, what I do?
Yeah. Does it bother you?
Oh yeah, sometimes it doesn't.
I have a lot of older videos getting reposted, which are usually the ones that people make rude comments about, because I was trying some things out with makeup. It wasn't always the best look. And somebody posted, what corner are you going to be standing on? Like, basically calling me a prostitute. And so I immediately responded with the same corner that your mom used to meet your dad on before she got too old for him. And here's the thing. Like, I wasn't upset. I just thought that's a really funny comeback for that person being a jerk. It doesn't, I don't know why. It doesn't bother me. And Steven thinks that I have a sociopathic level of confidence sometimes where like maybe it should bother me sometimes. And I'm like, I imagine the worst person I know is that person behind the keyboard. Like, who cares what they think?
I try and be so safe with the things that I reply with. That's like, I
Yeah.
don't mind responding,
Yeah.
but I'm not going to stoop to, and I'm not saying there's nothing wrong with doing it. I get why people do it. My first reaction is, man, I really want to say this, but I'm not going to
Yeah.
because I have a job and I don't want to say the wrong thing. And then the thing I end up saying, I'm like, yeah, it felt corny. That's what they want me to do. And that's what they want us to do, is respond to it and give it some attention. And it's hard for me not to do that, but I don't want to let them win. But I'm also like, don't step in the ring with me, because if you really want to do this joking thing, I'm on that.
Right.
Like, I got you.
Right.
And-
Exactly.
And it does bother me because it's usually stuff about weight, and that annoys me. I'm like, you don't even know me, and you don't have pictures of yourself up. To them, they can hide behind the social
course.
media stuff. Bothers me more. Like, if you're gonna be mean to me, stand on it. Like,
Mhm.
at least when they have pictures of themselves on there, like, at least you honest. Like, at
Right.
least you really meant that.
Yeah. Yeah.
But yeah,
Agreed.
and
Well,
yeah, it'd be what it'd be.
I agree. And it does get annoying, but I think that your followers are just going to grow, and eventually you'll hit a spot where people will defend you out. Like, you won't even have to say anything because people will get on them about it. And that's what was happening with some of the comments in mine too, is I had like former students or my mom will be in the comments like, you don't know, you have no idea. But
Yeah, I've had that a little bit. And
yeah,
and the good stuff in my brain, the bad outweighs the good. But I know overall the good outweighs the bad. Like,
that's right.
I'm like, people aren't following me because they want to trash everything I say.
Exactly.
People just aren't following me at all.
Speaking of, if people do want to follow you, where can they find you?
I'm on Instagram and TikTok at Comedy by GP.
Perfect. And as you guys know, I'm on all the platforms at Educator Andrea, and you can email me, andrea@human-content.com, or you can contact the whole Human Content Podcast family at Human Content Pods. And if you have not yet, please do leave us a 5-star review on whatever listening app you listen to us on. I would greatly appreciate it. And you can catch the full video episodes up every week on YouTube at Educator Andrea. Thank you so much for listening. I am your host, Andrew Forkham.
I'm Gerry Patoka.
And our executive producers are Andrew Forkham, Aaron Corney, Rob Goldman, and Shanti Brook. Our editor is Andrew Sims. Our engineer is Jason Portizo. Our music is by Omer Benzvi. To learn more about how to survive the classroom's program disclaimer and ethics policy and submission, verification, and licensing terms, you can go to podcasterandrea.com. How to Survive the Classroom is a Human Content production.
How to survive the classroom.
Thank you so much for watching. Want more of How to Survive the Classroom? You can watch more episodes right now. Just click on that little box over there. You see it? And if you haven't yet, please subscribe. Okay, bye.